All right, you've got your theory assessment assignment that you've seen that in your syllabus. So every single week we're going to explore a different, or not every week, this week we're covering an integration and theory assessment. But when we start covering the theories, each week as we cover a theory in a module, I want you to evaluate that theory, assess that theory. So you'll take your sheet out, you've got this Word document, you're going to turn this assignment in typed form. You're going to complete this in the Word document and submit that Word document. So you can jot it down by hand if you want to, but then you'll ultimately transfer it to your Word document. But you need to do this every week as we cover a theory. So when we cover a theory, you can ask yourself about these powers and then the two sensitivities. So explanatory power. Does the theory provide a very clear conceptualization of what is functional and what is dysfunctional? And then diagnostic power. Is there a vocabulary, there are terms and methods for identifying specific problem areas and articulating the diagnosis? Does the theory provide a clear way to diagnose? Like, this is the diagnosis. This is the terminology you use. This is the process and methods that we use to formulate a diagnosis. Then, are there clear interventions and techniques? Does it have strong therapeutic power? Does it provide a clear framework and methodology for treatment? Are there techniques that are clearly articulated by the theory? And as I'm saying this, some of you are going to think, well, don't all theories have these? Well, what you'll find as you evaluate theories is that no, not every theory has these. Some have very strong philosophical cores. Some have very clear relationship components, that is what matters most in the theory. Then others are heavily focused on interventions and techniques. So each week you're going to evaluate these. You're going to say, do they have it? Is it adequate? And then is it strong or is it weak? Which one? 1, 2, or 3 for each area. Then prognostic power. Does it provide insight into the probable course of identified dysfunction? Does the theory articulate what one could expect to see over the course of dysfunction? So it identifies dysfunction and then it articulates that prognosis, how you would expect the trajectory of dysfunction to play out. Does it have evaluative power? Does the theory lend itself readily to process and outcome evaluation? And then does it have preventative power? Does it emphasize prevention of future dysfunction as a goal of treatment? Does the theory clearly emphasize the prevention of future dysfunction as one of the primary goals of treatment? Then you evaluate the two sensitivities. What you'll learn is that many of our theories are they have been developed and heavily influenced by white males. There has been limited diversity within the field earlier on, particularly in terms of the development of these theories. So then, as theories have developed over the course of time, has there been some evolution of an incorporation of the recognition of the importance of gender and race and culture and cultural components in terms of influencing processes and relationships and outcomes? So does the theory have strong cultural sensitivity? Like across the board, is there cultural sensitivity? And does it have a good gender sensitivity? Does it recognize the influence of gender and the impact of culture on individuals' interactions in the world? We're going to evaluate every one of these theories across these powers and sensitivities. And then at the end, we're going to total them. You'll total up your score. Please, please, please do this each week as we cover your module, and don't wait to do this at the end, because as you learn about new theories, it will shape your perspectives about the theories that we've already covered, and you might evaluate them differently. So we want to try to there's no one right answer. Okay. Excuse me, sorry. There's no one right answer for this, the evaluations on these assessments of each theory, but there are certainly objective components that you're able to pull out of your text and your readings to inform your evaluation. So please do this each week as we go along. And at the end, you'll total them up and you'll say which one's the strongest and which one's the weakest. And then you have a brief explanation. You'll see question 3. I expect it to be very, very brief. But you'll see question 3 is, does your own assessment of the strongest and weakest models match the above findings? Now, it seems at first to be kind of a ridiculous question. You're the one that did the assessments above, right? But what I mean by this question is, from your own perceptions of theories, everything we've learned at the end of the semester, everything you've learned, does that lead you to believe that your objective evaluation of these theories is accurate in practice? And we're going to talk about that piece much more every week as we go along. And what do we mean by that? And what does it mean for us individually in our own style of practice? But right now, what I want you to attend to are those first initial components of just the evaluation. just the powers and the sensitivities. And as we go through each theory, please evaluate those. Are those powers exhibited in strong, adequate, or weak fashion for each theory? Thank you.